Hey you guys, what's up? It's Courtney. Thank you so much for coming back. Welcome to Cash Fitness. I just thought I would make a little video and just kind of give you guys a life update. There's been so much craziness going on. I know in my last video I mentioned posting some new stuff, some fitnessy stuff, and I haven't yet. There's a good reason for that, and that is why we're doing this video today. So yeah, let's get into it. So basically last week, not even last week, it was like week before last. Time is just like, I don't even know anymore. But yeah, so basically the 7th, I think, Saturday the 7th, I started just kind of feeling kind of gross, and I wasn't sure what was going on because I had actually tested. I went and got tested for COVID on that Thursday, just because I know that I have been exposed at work. Like indirectly exposed at work. So I was already off work, went and got tested. The test came back negative. So I was like, okay, cool, whatever. As you know, like I teach classes at the gyms and stuff like that. And I went to a friend's class that night, Friday night. And just because I knew I was negative, and I was like, okay, no one else I know is sick so far. So I went, whatever. And by Saturday, I was kind of just feeling a little like, just kind of like sluggish, had like a slight cough, and just kind of felt kind of crappy. So basically, like you guys know I had planned, like I said, to post some videos, some workout videos, and I haven't really posted anything since my last video. And the reason for that is that I had been sick. And long story short, I tested positive for COVID-19 as of yesterday. I went and got my test last Thursday, but I did test positive. My results came back yesterday and they were positive, so which is like insane. And as I'm making this video, I'm almost a week out from my symptoms kind of subsiding. I'm technically, as of today, able to come out of isolation. I am feeling better now, but I figured, you know, I didn't want to do a video or anything until I knew for sure that that's what was going on. And now that I know that that is what I had, I figured, like, why not kind of explain, because I know a lot of people are probably curious about what people go through with this virus, like what could be expected. It's scary because it's so unpredictable. You never know what your case is going to be like. So I figure why not share my experience and kind of let you guys know what I went through and how I felt and how long it lasted and all that stuff. If nothing else, it could give people just some random knowledge about, you know, one way that COVID could affect somebody. So basically, almost 3 weeks ago now, there was a positive at my job. And so since I may have possibly come in contact with somebody who was positive, they ended up quarantining us for 2 weeks, whatever. So I was already off work and I was like, okay, cool, whatever, I'm off work. Had no symptoms or anything, but I decided to go and get tested that Thursday just to be sure, you know, just to rule it out. Was still feeling totally normal by then. So I went, I got like a saliva test at one of the, you know, testing locations in the area, and it came back literally that same night, it came back negative. And I was like, okay, cool. And so I did the next day go to the gym and do class with one of my friends. I didn't teach my class, or like I didn't have a class that night or anything, but I did go to a friend's class. And at that point, as far as I knew, nobody was sick yet. So yeah, did that. I also went to class the next day. I worked out the next day at the gym. And then that day I felt really tired. I thought it was just because I didn't get enough sleep, whatever, I don't know. And then I went like that same night, like I started to get like a tiny little bit of like chest congestion, just kind of like coughing here and there, nothing crazy, but yeah, just, I mean, super slight. I didn't feel like I couldn't be out. I didn't feel like, oh my God, I have to lay down, I'm gonna die, like nothing like that. But I did feel just kind of like not great. Like I didn't feel like going anywhere, didn't feel like doing anything. Just kind of wanted to lay around that night. And I had potential plans that night even, but I was like, no, I just want to go home, you know? So went home and went to sleep. That was Saturday night. Sunday morning, I woke up and my temperature was like 101.6. And I took my temperature the night before because I was like, oh, I feel like something's coming on. But I didn't have a fever yet. Like my temp was normal. But yeah, so I wake up Sunday morning and I take my temp first thing. Because I think I woke up at like 6, like I woke up mad early and I was like, why am I up? But I felt, I was starting to feel feverish. Like, you know, when you feel feverish, like that's how I felt. So I took my temp, I was at 101.6 and I was like, crap, here we go. You know, so like I had the fever, but I also had like, you know, kind of when behind your eyes hurt, you know, ignore my nails. They're so grown out, but listen, clearly I had a good reason. So don't come for me. Anyways, but yeah, so I was like having like the sinus pressure, you know, headache kind of behind your eyes that you get, you know, where it kind of hurts to look up and look to the side. Like that's what I had going on. So that, and then the cough was still kind of there, loose cough, just like coughing up weirdness and, you know, but I was like, whatever, I'm coughing things up. So that's actually a good thing, whatever. So, and those were like my symptoms that, you know, that day and into the next few days. Like I had just the fever and I was like really hot. Like at one point I was like doing ice packs because I was trying to keep my temperature down. So I was taking Advil cold and sinus because at this point I'm thinking, well, I was negative on Thursday. There's no way I'm negative on Thursday and I have symptoms a day and a half later. No way, you know? So yeah, so I did like ice packs and I was taking Advil cold and sinus, like I said, because I was convinced it was a sinus infection. And like 4 hours on the dot, the fever would go back up. And when it did go down, it didn't go completely down, which tells me just how high it would have been without the fever reducers. So I just kept taking that, whatever. And I was like, we'll see how I feel on Monday. Like I didn't go into the doctor on Sunday or anything. I was like, I'm just gonna wait and see, like maybe it'll be fine by tomorrow. So Monday rolls around, not fine, absolutely not. Like fever was still just as high. No new symptoms at that point, but the fever was still just as high. I still was coughing stuff up and I still had the really, really kind of crappy like headache. So I did call like the health line or whatever and told them my symptoms and they were like, okay, like we're gonna suggest that you go in and see your doctor in person. So I went and did that, came in, told my doctor my symptoms. And actually like that was the first day that my fever did go all the way back down to normal with fever reducers, which was a good sign. So I still had a fever, but it was lower. It must have been lower that day because on the fever reducers, it did go all the way back down to 98, which, you know, so yeah. So I went in, talked to the doctor. I told him everything. He was like, well, yeah, you know, like you seem overall like you're feeling okay, which I was. I really felt fine as long as the fever reducers were doing their job because it was the fever that was taking me out more than anything. So as long as I kept my fever down, I felt okay. So yeah, I went to the doctor, whatever, and I told him my symptoms. He was like, I think you should get tested for COVID again. And I was like, oh, because I like told them like several times, I was like, I already got tested for COVID and I was negative on Thursday. And he was like, I think you should get tested again. Like, because he's like, what you're telling me, I'm like, I could think sinus infection, but there's no runny nose. Like my nose, even up till right now, is completely dry. Like no, my nose is not running. And he was like, yeah, so I'm not thinking sinus infection or respiratory infection because you don't have any nasal, you know, drainage, maybe strep, but probably like you need to get tested for COVID again. And I was like, okay. So he scheduled me a drive-up test because he was like, listen, we're gonna have to shove that thing up your nose. And I was like, you listen, I've been through enough. Like, so he scheduled me a drive-up test because they were just doing like the swab where they do like this, but they don't go like all the way back. So my drive-up test was scheduled for Thursday and this was like Monday, I believe. So I was like, okay, that'll give me a few days to just kind of see how I'm gonna be feeling by then. Like, I'm just gonna ride it out till then. He was like, in the meantime, you know, take your vitamins, drink your liquids, you know, have hot soup with broth, get plenty of rest, you know, the usual. He was like, I'm not going to put you on antibiotics. I'm going to see if your body can fight it off itself, but give me a call if the symptoms don't get better in a couple days. So I was like, cool, boom, perfect. So went home, just kept kind of doing what I was doing. By the next day, I was feeling better. Temperature wasn't normal, but it wasn't as high. So I did feel better. Was just really tired though. I just was like feeling like kind of crappy still. Felt fine though for the most part, as long as I had my, you know, the fever reducer still. So it's more the same, but that whole night, rather than having like the headache kind of behind my eyes, it was just like a regular headache, but like really bad and all night. Like I tried to go, I didn't take fever reducers that night because I was like, I want to see, because my temp didn't go up very high after that. So I was like, okay, well, maybe I just won't take meds. But I freaking, man, the headache that I had, and my head was throbbing all night long, all day really too. And even the next day, so the next day was what, Tuesday, Wednesday? I don't even remember what day I'm on now. But by this day, I believe it was Wednesday. Wednesday, my fever actually broke for the most part. Like it was like 99 something without having fever medication for like 8 hours. So at that point, I consider the fever broken. So I did take medicine because I had a headache all day and it was not going away. So, and even taking the Advil, which usually gets rid of anything for me, like that dulled it, but it didn't get rid of the headache. Like the headache was like gnarly. It was so bad. So yeah, I took Advil just for the headache. And that was my main symptom for most of Wednesday. And then by Thursday, actually, the headache didn't come back. Like the headache was gone by Thursday. Fever was normal by Thursday. Cough was still lingering, but that was really the extent of my like bad symptoms. So I really wasn't feeling bad by Thursday because the fever was gone, and the fever was what really took me out. So, so yeah, that was the day that I got my test. So I went and got tested. The day that my symptoms had subsided, that was the day I got my test. And I've been feeling good ever since. So Thursday, got my test, whatever, everything was fine. Kept with the same though, kept pumping myself with the supplements and stuff and just trying to get plenty of rest. Friday, more the same. Felt really good Friday overall. Again, symptoms didn't really come back much. The headache lingered slightly for a couple days, but by then I think it was pretty much gone. Saturday, Sunday, still no test results, but still feeling good. So then yesterday is when I got the call from the doctor. I got my call. The doctor says, well, not the call. They didn't call me till today, but I got an email saying that my results were in online. So I went to like my chart or whatever, and there it goes, you're positive for COVID. And I'm like, okay. Like what? I was so shocked. Like I wasn't expecting that. I mean, I was, but like I wasn't. Like I was anticipating it. But I was still like, no, like I felt all this before. Like I've had these symptoms before, and it's usually just like a sinus allergy type thing. But honestly, the last time I felt this and had anything similar to this was back in February. And I'm still convinced till this day that I probably had COVID in February as well. I'm not sure because I didn't know what it was back then. I just wrote it out and then it was over and that was that. But I am, I'm skeptical now because it was very similar symptoms. But yeah, I mean, at this point, it's Tuesday. Is it Tuesday? Yes, it's Tuesday. I don't even know what day it is. I've been off work for almost 3 weeks now. But yeah, it's Tuesday. I'm feeling a lot better. Like I just feel tired kind of today. Like today, I let my work alarm go off last night or this morning. So I was awakened at 5:30 and then again at 6. And that was way too early for me to be awake. I feel like my body is still like wanting plenty of sleep because typically I'm that person that's up at the crack of dawn, like even on the weekends. So the latest I can sleep is 7:38 unless I'm in bed at like 4 a.m. or something. So lately I've been sleeping till 9, 10, sometimes close to 11, which is not like me, but I think it's just my body like, hey, you need sleep. Take this sleep. You know what I mean? So I think that's what's been going on. So I've just been taking advantage of it, sleeping in as long as my body will allow it, because typically my body doesn't. I think that's really the extent of of what's left of my symptoms, just kind of tiredness every now and then, a little bit still cough here and there, nothing crazy. The doctor called today and they, I told them everything. I told them when my symptoms started, and I told them the last time I had a fever or took fever reducing medication. So technically as of today, the 17th, I am free to be out of isolation technically. Still staying isolated because don't want to get sick again or to get anyone else sick. But yeah, that's what's been going on. Like it has been crazy. My mom got sick too. My stepdad got sick. I think my sister might be getting sick. I think, the whole family is like freaking sick. I mean, my mom's okay now. Like her symptoms started Friday. She's just about back to normal now. Still feeling it. Her symptoms started a few days after mine, so I think hers are still slowly subsiding, where mine are pretty much gone. Same with my stepdad. But my sister's just starting to feel some symptoms today, I think. So we're just like hoping like her case isn't very bad, or if that's what's going on. We don't know, they haven't been tested yet, so we'll see. But I don't know. All I know is this whole thing is just insane. It's crazy how fast this thing is spreading. We're here in Minnesota, so the weather's cooler now, it's drier now, and they're saying that that's only helping COVID to thrive. It's just like the perfect environment for it to get stronger and go further. So all we can do is take as many precautions and build up our immune systems. And that's one of the things that I've been like trying to stress to everyone, like seriously, because it's so important and they don't talk about it enough on the news. Like they just don't. They tell you to mask up, they tell you to stay inside, they tell you to social distance. That's cool, but like it is really important. We do really need to focus on our, on our immune systems. We need to keep ourselves strong from the inside out in order to be able to fight things like this quickly, and not have the really, really bad, really scary result that some people who end up in hospitals on ventilators with this thing will have. You know what I mean? And like the one thing that I've been doing a ton, the one thing that I credit for kind of getting through this as quickly as I did and not having worse symptoms, is just taking my vitamins. Like I've been doing so much elderberry, which elderberry was something I kind of swore by before all this. And I did kind of fall off of it for a little while, but as soon as I started feeling symptoms, I was taking I have like the lozenges, I have like the tea, I have like the emergency packs now. They have an elderberry one, so I've been taking that. Actually I just finished that, and I've been taking all my vitamins. I take 1 million vitamins a day as it is, but just really doubling up on my immune support vitamins and drinking plenty of water, getting plenty of rest, stuff like that. Like that's what's been really making a difference, I think. And when my mom started having symptoms, I started making sure she was doing that as well. And she's actually gotten through it pretty quickly. Her symptoms were pretty much the same as mine as far as the headache and like the slight cough and the fever. So I credit that. When I see the COVID updates on the news, I don't typically see a whole lot about nutrition and the importance of keeping your immune system strong through taking your supplements and eating clean. And I just feel like that should be talked about so much more than it is, because honestly, like that's what I think has like saved me in this whole thing. Like I feel, I still feel a little bit not 100%. Like I'd say on a scale of 1 to 10, how good I feel, I'd probably say like an 8 right now. But I figured if I ever got this COVID thing, it would be like the death of me. And it really was not that bad. And I feel like it would have been prolonged. I don't know if it would have been worse, but I feel like it would have been prolonged had my immune system not been where it's at, So I just really want to stress that to people, to just like really do your best to eat clean, do your best to take your vitamins and keep your immune system built up, not just when you feel sickness coming on, but like at all times, because this kind of thing can hit at any point, especially now we're getting into this part of the year where it's spreading like wildfire. They told us it would, we knew it would, but everyone's kind of like, as the summer came and as things started to kind of become more normal to us with all this weird COVID stuff, I feel like our guard has gone from here and just kind of slowly started, like we're not taking it as seriously as we were in the beginning, because people aren't scared anymore. And I'm not saying we should be scared and we should live in fear of this thing. I'm not saying that at all. Like, I'm saying the opposite, honestly. But I'm just saying we do need to take more precautions at this point, because the weather is changing, and that is in turn affecting how this thing travels and how it spreads. And it's insane. Like the number of people that I know just within the last week or two who have come down with symptoms or who have actually tested positive, it's out of control at this point. Like it's getting scary because there are so many people, and it's just like, for the most part, we've all been doing the same thing. We haven't changed what's been working for the last few months. But that's the issue in itself. We need to change what we've been doing. We need to tighten it up because now the weather is changing and that's affecting how this thing is spreading. And so I feel like that's just something that we really need to pay attention to. Those are just the things that I like have to stress more than anything. Like, please, seriously, take your freaking vitamins. Take your vitamin D, take your vitamin C, take your elderberry. Elderberry is a lifesaver. If you don't know about elderberry, I need you to educate yourself and go get you some. You can go get it at pretty much any store now. They have the lozenges, they have the syrups, they have the little tablets, they have the gummies. Like, get that stuff into your system. It is, I mean, it's a godsend. I truly, like I said, like, I'm not even exaggerating what I say. I credit elderberry 100% for why I got through it so fast. I know a lot of people don't know about it. I didn't know about it until like a couple years ago now, but it's one of those tried and true, like, home remedy type things. My grandpa swore by it. It's one of those things we really need to get up on. And now that they have it in so many different forms over the counter, you can just go, you know, to the vitamin section and get yourself some at almost any store. My Minnesota People Fresh Thyme has a huge selection of different elderberry supplements that you can choose from. I just went and stocked up myself. Walmart, you can usually get them. Target, you can usually get them. Fresh Thyme and Whole Foods and places like that. And you can find it in so many different forms. It's amazing. And I think it did wonders for me personally. But everyone's gonna react to this thing differently. And at this point, there's really no getting around. Like, the vast majority of us have probably had it and don't even realize it. If you are somebody who does get it, I pray it's not something, you know, life-threatening for you, but you just never know. And I feel like the best defense to a situation like this is to head it off before you even get it by making sure your immune system is as strong to begin with as possible. And the best way to do that is to eat as clean as possible, as often as possible, and to take your vitamins. Like, just take your vitamins, dude. Like, I don't eat clean all the time. One thing I've always been really good about is making sure that I take my vitamins, because I don't want to get sick. And when I do get sick, because it is inevitable, you can be as healthy as an ox, but getting sick sometimes is inevitable. Your body will fight it more efficiently if you're already healthy. So that's why I kind of wanted to just make this video, not only to let you guys know what I went through, what my personal experience with COVID was like, but just so that just to stress the importance of, you know, being healthy, like taking care of your body, like not just when you're sick, but all the time, so that your body has what it needs to help you heal when you do get sick. Because between the flu and COVID, like, nobody's safe out here this year, guys. Like, don't think it can't happen to you. Like, I didn't think I would get sick. I didn't think I would catch this thing. Let's be honest, you know, I didn't think I would catch this thing, but here we are. You know, I'm just happy and thankful and blessed to be able to say that I'm feeling better, and that I got through it, that I'm okay, you know, that the doctors have already told me that I'm safe to even go back out into the world. I don't need to be in quarantine anymore, which is crazy because I don't feel like as much time has passed as has actually passed. It doesn't feel like it's been, you know, 14 days, 10 days, whatever, but apparently it has. And I did the math. I told them when I first started symptoms, they're like, oh, you can come out of isolation as of today. And I'm like, okay, you know, like, so yeah, I'm just grateful that my case wasn't a severe one. And I just hope nobody else has to go through it, because it was miserable. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, it was not a fun time. Which, I mean, fevers are never a fun time. It's so miserable having a fever. For me, my fever was the symptom that made me feel the worst. As long as I kept my fever under control, I was able to function. I was able to have, like, I got my appetite back and everything once my fever was at bay. So anybody who has symptoms that are similar to mine, just what I suggest to you, just make sure that you drink as much fluids as you can. Like, it's really tough to keep your fluids down when you're not feeling good. Like, it's so hard to want to eat and want to drink when you have a fever, but drink as much as you can. Like water, I drank a lot of orange juice with vitamin C and vitamin D. Make sure you drink a lot of that. That way you get some calories in your system, because you're probably not going to want to eat. And you'll also get those vitamins. So, you know, orange juice, ton of water, drink a lot of echinacea and elderberry tea. It's by Traditional Medicinals. It's delicious. It's a really, really good tea. I'm actually drinking that right now, with some honey, local honey. It's good for allergies. vitamins I was taking. I mean, make sure you take your vitamin C, your vitamin D, your zinc, and make sure you take your elderberry every 4 hours. I keep elderberry in my system consistently, and I really, really, truly feel like that's what helped me get better, which is why I'm saying that. Like, I just want everyone to be healthy. I want everybody who is touched by this thing to come out of it okay without having to go to the hospital or doctors or anything. Like, but please, no, seriously, please, if you do feel like you need to go in, because this thing is not anything you want to play with. You know, you might not realize it, you're as bad off as you are or whatever, but like, please listen to your body. That's the one thing I can say. Listen to your body. If you feel like you need to rest, and don't skip meals. That's a tough one, because when I don't feel good, I don't eat. But that was my doctor. He's stressed. Don't skip meals. Make sure you eat your food. You know, in addition to your fluids and stuff like that. He said, you know, do a soup with broth. Like, that also helps you get some fluid in your system as well, and some calories in your system. So you're not feeling so woozy and lightheaded and whatnot. So yeah, that's what I can suggest for this whole thing. I feel like I'm totally rambling by now. But yeah, like that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all I have to tell you guys. In addition to just the obvious, please mask up, you guys. Wear your mask. It's not a freaking game out here. It is real. It's happening, and it's not fun. COVID is not fun, okay? Like, keep your distance from people, wear your masks, try to stay home as much as you can. I know some of us have to go out and work. I work in the gym. I can't avoid the gym right now. I work around kids. I work in a childcare center. Like, I can't avoid leaving the house and being around people right now. A lot of us can't, because bills have to be paid. I get that, you know, but right now with the weather changing, now's the time we really need to take this seriously. Like, if you don't have to be out, don't go out, you know? And I know it sucks, and you know, we don't want to, we're sick of it. 2020 has been like the biggest headache ever, but it's a small price to pay to make sure that your health stays intact. You know what I mean? Like, we just have to bite the bullet on this one and ride it out until this thing finally dies down. And honestly, unfortunately, it's probably gonna get worse before it gets better, because the weather's changing and it's flu season, and you know, so just like, minimize your time around friends and family, minimize your time out in public, wear your masks when you are in public, you know, social distance, take your vitamins, eat clean. Like, that's all there is to it. That's really all we can do. That, and just stay prayed up and hope that we don't catch this thing, you know. Even if you're like me and you've caught it now, like you've had it, it's been in your system, they don't know enough about it to even know if you are truly like immune for however much time. So it's just like, just take care of yourself, take precautions. Even if you're not necessarily worried about catching it, take precautions, because at this point, like, I'm just like worried. Like, I had it, now everyone in my family, like, I'm pretty sure it's gone around my family, so now I'm just sitting here worried, hoping that no one in my family has it worse than I did. You know, do it for yourself, but do it for people around you as well. You know, if for nothing else, take the extra precautions to protect your loved ones that you have to be around. You know what I mean? Like I said, though, I am feeling a lot better. I have some new choreo I've been working on for December. I am going to plan on getting that recorded soon. Might also even have some virtual classes in the works pretty soon here. It's just a matter of when I can go to the gym. If I can't get back in the gym soon, I probably will plan to do some virtual classes at home for my students. So stay tuned for that information. Follow us on social media to stay up to date, and look out for more new videos coming soon. And thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.